Hi everyone, this is Killshot99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead, Season 10, Episode 2, Early Bold Predictions. I want to thank everybody for being here on this Wednesday night. We are middle of the week. I know the schedule's a little bit off because normally we do random things on Monday. We did random things last night. If you guys missed it, go back and check it out. It was a lot of fun. We might actually have a new segment because it looks like the gauntlet has been thrown down a little bit with Rhyme Time. Rhyme Time is catching some popularity. So I'm thinking about doing a Rhyme Time showdown. If you guys didn't see that on the Facebook fan page, get over there and check that out because looks like we can have a lot of fun with that going forward. So we're going to get into some of the topics tonight. If you guys are not familiar with how we do this, this is not based on spoilers. It's not based on new information. We did episode 1 maybe a week ago, where we went through and we did the predictions, and we thought, okay, Walking Dead is going to be Season 10. They're going to have to come out and really be bold. And we're starting to funnel it down a little bit. I know information will start to come out, who's filming, so on and so forth. But tonight what we're going to do is we're going to layer on top of what we did last time. I know we've got some people, I put on the Patreon page, I want to know some titles, so I'm going to read some of those just in a little bit. So I want to try to keep everybody zoned in as much as we can, focused on, I know we love to all get together and it's almost like a Google Hangout, but we really want to try to stay on topic as much as possible, especially in this stream. We do Random Things stream, it gets a little wild. We do Freestyle Fridays, definitely for that. But, as someone is trying to get data and trying to include your comments into the video, I would love you guys would participate in episode number 2 and start to think of some of the things that we think is going to go down. So if you guys remember, we did this about a week ago. One of the theories that we had at that moment was that Alpha might have migrated. So maybe she went down to the Oceanside area. Could be some potentially deaths that could occur there. We didn't predict that there would be a lot of battle back and forth, and maybe Alpha has not made her way back. Some people were all over the place, right? They were saying Alpha could go back and have some interactions with Negan, with Carol. No, I think that's a little bit too early. But what I want to do is, if Alpha does make her way back in episode number 1, where do you think a good starting point would be with episode number 2? We still probably need to have the Carol and Negan interaction. A little bit of that throwdown is a possibility. And we also know that, hopefully you guys saw the news, Judith will be around for a little while. The actress Kaylee signed $250,000. What do you guys think about decent salary? I mean, it's not up there, but for her first full season coming back, $250,000. I think that's a sign she's going to be there for a little while. Thoughts on the Judith contract? I see some people, Walking Dead nerds, like, yay, yeah, get Judith involved. A little bit of a slap in the face to Chandler. I mean, I think this says, hey, $250,000, we're going to keep you around for a little while, and maybe next season she'll make $250,000 per episode. Who knows? Certainly has a strong following. I don't think there was a lot of people, sad that she signed a contract. Actually, Andrew Lincoln made a lot more than that. D. Dixon, she's making $250,000 for the whole season. Andrew Lincoln was making $650,000 per episode. So yeah, not even in the same ballpark. So she's getting the equivalent of what? You can do the math. 250,000 divided by 16. Yeah, big difference. But she's gonna make her mark. We're starting to see a lot more with Lauren, and I'm not gonna backtrack any of my rant comments. You guys know my feelings on that. However, Maggie's gonna be back. It's a given. She's out. She's doing events. She's being seen. I don't have any ill will or animosity. I'm looking forward to how they're going to write her back into it. But what I think is a very interesting dynamic, and where we don't want to get too far into it, where we're talking about what could happen in episode 7, 8, and 9, because we really want to drill down to episode number 2. But it does look like if Judith is going to be there maybe for the whole season, and we know that Michonne is not going to be there for the whole season, and Maggie could come back. Interesting dynamic there. So, save Whiskey Cavalier. No, we're not saving Whiskey Cavalier. Tom Ferreira, thoughts on a nuclear walker? My thoughts on a nuclear walker, on Fear the Walking Dead, I don't want to come in contact with it. That would be my thoughts. My thoughts on a nuclear walker, if that's the direction they decide to go, or a radioactive walker, is that walkers can start to become carriers of other things. That would be the only thing, not just radiation, but who knows? Who knows what they could be contaminated with? Leave your thoughts to that. June Smith, Army. My last night until next Wednesday on my way to Cuba. Please pray for safe travels tomorrow. We'll miss you guys. Keep Rick alive while I'm gone. June. I think June is going to Havana, ooh na na. June will soon be in Havana, ooh na na. Have a safe trip, June. You know that, have a good time, and bring us back some cigars. I don't smoke. Bring the Army back some cigars. I'm a Puritan, I guess. I don't smoke. I don't drink often, you guys. But feel free to enjoy yourself. It's like, opened up that can of worms. All right. So, Tom, Bug, I think you bring up a good point. This type of walker could change the Walking Dead universe. I think what's interesting is sometimes they roll something out on one show and they test the waters, and if it works, then they develop it for something a little bit more risky on the other show. So I don't think we'll continue to see one theme like all walkers on both shows are going to be radioactive, but maybe it sets up something for The Walking Dead. Flamethrower Fluff. Am I the only one in this group that isn't a jet-setting big baller? Yes, you are, Fluff. I mean, you asked, so yeah. Everybody else here, all of the Army, all of our fans, they're all big ballers. But I will say this: I'm gonna get off track just for a second because I got to reel it back in a second. We got to get to Walking Dead because there's going to be outsiders watching this video. Fluff, apparently there will be a rhyme time battle that may involve a few people. So if you win that battle, you might become a primetime jet set big balling rhymer. I mean, you could be those things. So maybe this is a good time to announce this. We do random things, and we also do Freestyle Fridays, and sometimes we get off track a little bit. So last night on Random Things, we had Rapid Ray, is what I should call him, because Ray was pretty intense. We did rhyme time, and it was quick. It was over in seconds. So we're gonna set up a showdown. And what I think I'm going to do is let you guys vote for 8. We're going to vote for the top 8. And on Random Things, we'll just have a showdown between 2 people, and one person will advance. And I'll let everybody else vote on it. Because we'll do our own prime time. Everybody enjoys prime time, but I think we're going to take it to a whole different level. If you guys are down for that, do me a favor, like this video, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. All right, I got a couple super chats got to get to. William the Walking Dead Billboard says, I don't think it's a new type of walker. I think it's an introduction to a type of whisperer group. So, William, you think we got some whisperer franchises going on? Like Alpha takes over the east side, and then we got another whisperer. It could be. And the Whisper threat never goes away? Possibility. Daryl Stoltz kills. Does Michonne leave in season 10 before, during, or after the Whisper War? Plus, we have to see a scene in season 10 with Negan, Jerry, Luke, and Eugene, a.k.a. the Walking Dead Marx Brothers. Let the hilarity ensue. So, Daryl, what we have heard is that Michonne will be in a handful of episodes. We've heard that before. But she will be a big part of the story. So I think we're going to get a heavy dose of Michonne in 3, 4, maybe 5. I think she leaves before the end of the Whisperer War. That's just my take on it. Because I think the Whisperer War is going to last for a while. William, the Billboard says, if you're a part of the 99 Army, you are a big baller. Boom. There you go. Well said, William. Tom Bug says, what if Rick is working on a cure? Tom, I don't think Rick would be consciously working on a cure. Could somebody be using Rick to work on a cure? My thought with Rick has always been this. If Rick has any inkling at all that Michonne's alive, or Judith's alive, or that he's the father of RJ, which he doesn't know that, and he had a method to get back, I think he would make every attempt. We know our Rick Grimes. June Smith, what would Rick Grimes do? I mean, he would fight tooth and nail, right? I mean, he would get back. Rick has to be in a situation where he does not know about these things, because there's no way he would be gone for 7 years letting everything happen working on a cure. I don't see it. Exactly. What would Rick do? Fight like crazy. Now you're hearing it from June. E-Beach 72. So, do you think Rick lost his memory? I don't think Rick lost his memory. But I do think Rick could have been lied to, and Rick can be in a position that he's in the middle of nowhere, and, hey, the bridge blew up, people died, we rescued you, there's nobody left. And I think the natural response of, fly me there. I don't know. I don't know that they have working helicopters. I don't know that they have fuel. I don't know that they have the means to do that. I would think that people powerful enough to take Rick, they've got some resources. But here's the big question, and we could certainly dive into this in some future streams. Why are we not seeing any more helicopters 7 years later? Where are all the helicopters now? Fuel doesn't last forever. They got what they need. Maybe they brainwashed him. So we can't just assume that 7 years didn't go by. I mean, we saw that, right? We saw all the things that happened. Maybe, they were flying in this direction. They said, we got all we need from this area. Let's fly in a different direction and fly in a different direction. And I would feel like, I don't know how they're going to come out of the gates with the movie, but I got to think they lied to him. I got to think that Rick was led to believe nobody survived it. Could be completely wrong, but all right. Hey, everybody, let's do me a favor. I need everybody to really let's jump into this episode number 2. And we got Jim super chatting it. And Jim wanted a nickname. But Jim, you're going to have to be in a few more random things. I think we can come up with something for you, but we're going to have to learn a little bit more about you. But I definitely think we can get you a really cool nickname. I think the only way Michonne leaves Judith is in a split-second decision following a lead to Rick and knows Negan is protecting her. I don't disagree with that at all. Jim, I don't disagree with that being a possibility. With that being said, I think there are other possibilities as well. Judith standing her ground, Maggie coming back, Judith refusing to go, in part standing her ground, like, I need to save these people. And I don't think that would be a hard thing to write her into. It would make you wonder why they made Judith look a little vulnerable and a little bit like a child at the end. I'm not going to say it's terrible writing. And Jim, I think, to your point, the fact that Negan saved her would tell that storyline pretty well. I think that would be okay with that. To my point, if Judith were to stand her ground, I don't think putting her in a scene where she's surrounded by walkers and putting her in a scene where she runs after a dog and Negan has to save her, I don't think that screams out she can protect Alexandria. So, yeah, my theory on that probably is not as good as yours. Because if so, I know it's overused, it is a little questionable writing. Omicron, Kills, do you know exactly how long each of us has been a member? So, Omicron, here's the thing. That's a good question. There are 3 different things that you can do. A subscriber is someone who subscribes to the channel, that gets notified of the videos. So, no, I cannot look and see how long you've been a subscriber. I could go through and find out if you are a subscriber. For example, we've had people say, like, hey, bro, I'm a subscriber. I'm not watching your videos anymore. And come to find out they never were a subscriber. They were just somebody that was, yeah. A member are the people in green. And yes, I do know how long the members have been members, because there's a badge right beside anyone in green. There's a badge beside their name. And the longer they're members, the badge changes. And I can also look that up. And Patreons as well. But as far as people that are subscribed to the channel, to answer your question, no. And you guys can see Jason Mixologist, Walking Dead Nerd, Wilson, all have been members for a year. And I think Michelle M. as well. I think we have 4 now that have been members for a year. All right. So we got some super chats. We got some thoughts. We got some news. While we're kind of in the middle, tomorrow night we are going to be doing Thursday Thrones. So I know there's a lot of hype around Game of Thrones. Friday night we're going to be doing Freestyle Friday. Saturday morning, we'll be doing might be doing a rant. If Kim Dickens keeps talking about coming back as Madison, I'm not going to promise that I won't do a rant. That could be a possibility. And then, of course, Sunday we're going to do Game of Thrones. All right, back to episode number 2. Give me a bold prediction. I want your best bold prediction of something that you think won't happen in episode 1, but would be perfectly timed for episode 2. Beta goes against Alpha. For what reason, Julia? Give me a follow-up to that. I like it. Wilson says Rosita has the baby. Maggie returns, says Maria. Maria, I'm going to say Maggie does not return that early. I really think, Maria, they're going to save the Lauren reunion for after Denai leaves. Or there'll be a quick crossover. I think that's going to kind of be an ace up their sleeve. Not everybody's going to love it. But we'll all, look, Maggie comes back. We will all support Maggie Ree. I'm just not the biggest fan of Lauren right now. That's all. And I'm sure I'll warm up to it. Just give me a little time. The writers do have the ability to change our emotions on things. Proven. Okay, I do like this, Kimberly M. Someone actually hears a voice on the radio. So, Maria, to your point, I don't think Maggie returns. And Daryl, I don't think Maggie returns in episode 2. I think we get confirmation of Maggie on the radio. Who agrees with that? How many people think Maggie actually physically is back? See, I don't think they have enough time to tell that story, right? Maggie just pops in. Hey, guys, where you been? I'm back. Don't worry. I know it's been a little while, but I made it. I think they got to reach out to her first. It's probably like, where's she been? What's been going on? They haven't been able to get in touch with her. How many people think it's the voice on the radio? I know some people wanted it to be Commonwealth on the radio, but I think it's too early. No, Julia, her show isn't canceled yet, but that doesn't matter. So here's what's going on. If you guys are missing this, there's another interview. Hold on, everybody. Hit the pause button for a second. All right, I seem to have everybody back. She is speaking a language right now that says she will say, will. No. Hold on. She is speaking in code right now that says she is going to come back, regardless whether she's filming Whiskey Cavalier or not. I'll go through the latest interview. She has set the table to come back. She left it vague. They did not have a good break. It was not, hey, welcome, open arms, come back. She said, sometimes you want to go out and try other things, but I don't remember the exact wording. I'll look it up. But she says, I'm prone to doing multiple things. Multitasking is the word she used. Something along the lines of the ability to multitask. She set it up perfectly saying, I'm going to come back, and if I have to do both, I'm going to be there for the Walking Dead fans. I don't like it, but just get used to it right now. She will be back. Mark it down. There's no way. She's not out doing movies. If the show gets canceled, she's coming back. If the show doesn't get canceled, she's doing both shows. Trust me. Trust me on this. Which means season 10, she's coming back. She's coming back for less money. She's not going to get Daryl. She's not going to get Norman Reedus money. She's not going to get Jeffrey Dean Morgan money. They'll probably bring her in slightly more than what she was making, a couple $100,000 an episode. Yeah, she's got star power. They can throw that out there. But I don't think they're going to write her into the lead. See, Deborah, now that is an interesting question. So Deborah says full-time. Don't know. But I don't think she needs to be full-time in the beginning. They can buy another year. So if Whiskey Cavalier makes it 2 years, then, yeah, they bring her on, they pay her a good salary, and pick up the role again. Or, and string it along a little bit. It buys them another year because then she could come back full-time in 11. She doesn't need to come back at the beginning of 10. Now, I certainly, my argument for this, and you guys remember the rant, and, since it's brought up, let's just go ahead with it, okay? Because I know the conversation is going to steer in that direction, and I do think it's important to episode 2. So I'll preface it with that. Right. The whole thing is open-ended. But if Maggie comes back, in my mind, and I can be the minority in this opinion, there are other actors, me personally, there's other actors I would like to see get the money and get the role. E. Beach says she comes back. AMC does have the upper hand. Of course they do. But E. Beach, I don't think at this point they would lowball her. I think what happens in this situation is they would find common ground. Look, we're not going to give you what you thought you deserved, but we're not going to pay you what we did before. You are a star. We can bring you back. My problem with that is I would rather give the money to Jerry. I would rather give the money to Magna. And because you guys brought it up, and I'm not saying Lauren is taking food out of other people's mouths. What I'm saying is the audience will run back to Maggie. And I don't think we have to. And I really wish that AMC would have stood their ground and said, look, Piker, move on, and let's make Magna the star. Let's give Magna all that FaceTime and give her the money that we would have given Lauren. Do you guys think that Magna's character would be received like that? Maybe. Look, I know Maggie's one of the longest running characters on the show, but give her a chance. You don't think that Magna could play into that role? You don't think Jerry could play into that role? They've got other people. And you can say it all you want. I mean, there's a certain salary budget. And if there's a certain salary budget, you start giving money to these high-name stars, it does affect other people. And it does affect the future of other people. William, The Walking Dead Billboard. I think Maggie will return, but say Georgie needs her elsewhere and leave again to return full-time in season 12. Possibility. I mean, if the story flows, William, anything like that is possible. I don't think you can play yo-yo with the fans too much, though. Bring her back, let her leave. Just as soon as we started accepting her character again and Georgie takes her somewhere else. I don't know. I don't know Maggie is just going to be that loyal to Georgie. And look, there is no right or wrong to this. Ollie's saying, no, Lauren's a much better actress. Certainly, you have that opinion. There's some people who think Chandler Riggs, Carl was a better actress than Judith. I'm not one of those. I think I like Judith's character better than Carl. And if we ask that question, it's probably 50-50. Everybody has their favorites. But Ollie Smith, I think the point that I'm trying to get at, let's just say Maggie is slightly better. Does the show need her? Were you guys up at night last season? How many people were awake at night the last half of the season saying, oh my God, they really need to bring Maggie back? The show it's not the same. And if you're not saying that, it doesn't need her. That's kind of my point. When I see people saying we're doing just fine, we're okay, you're not throwing out $100,000. You're probably paying her $250,000, $300,000 per episode. You're talking about, figure that out, $3-4 million that you're paying her to come back. And if you're paying her that much money, it ain't going to be some sidebar. She's coming back to be a star. Maybe not the lead, but she's coming back to be a star. And when Michonne leaves, okay, I'll give you that. Maybe they need it when Michonne leaves. June Smith, give the money to Rick and bring him back. Money talks for sure. Rick could have gotten Norman Reedus money. I love it. Jason, a badge of honor. Jason, that is that's your 1-year badge. And thank you. I appreciate you being used to be called a sponsor, and now it's a member. Not only did the badge change, but the name's changed. Julie Durant, never noticed she was gone. And hey, once again, I get in a lot of trouble when I go down that Lauren road or I go down that Maggie road. Not everybody wants to hear a strong opinion when it comes to it. I gave you my opinion, but I'm also asking, I ask everybody here. If you think that, hey, I love the character, can't wait, I respect that. I respect your idea around that. But to the initial question that came up, I don't think it happens in episode number 2. That's really the gist of it. I think at a minimum, let's not have Maggie steal Michonne's story and Michonne's FaceTime. This is going to be the first 3 or 4 episodes are going to be very, very heavily focused on Michonne. We've already been told that she is leaving. It's no secret she's leaving. So how does her story play out? And I would almost bet it plays out with her running and leaving with RJ and Judith having to stay behind. I've said that for a while. Anybody want to agree with that or disagree with that? Many of you said, Kills, there's no way Michonne is leaving without Judith. And I said, no, hold on. They will find a way for Judith to stay behind. They're building this dynamic between Negan and Judith. And when I saw the fact that they just signed her for season 10, I feel pretty good about that prediction right now. I think not only will Judith want to stay, I think she will find a way to stay. And I agree. She might be the one to trust Negan. Well, Eric Beach said, Kills, is Michonne a permanent leave or a Maggie? I think she's open-ended. I don't think they kill her. So, if you guys remember, no, RJ's not staying. If you guys remember this, give me a thumbs up. Because this was my super bold prediction about a month ago. So let me give it to you again. I said Judith will find a way to stay, and Michonne will leave Judith with Negan to keep people from killing Negan to further the legacy of Rick Grimes. As long as Judith is there, Negan is safe. That's the storyline. That is exactly the way it's going to play out. 2 birds with 1 stone. Michonne can leave. She's going to get some word, something is going to cue her that Rick is still alive. Michonne and RJ leave to go find Rick. She leaves Judith behind because Judith can handle herself, because Negan will protect Judith, and because Judith will keep Negan safe as well. That's how Michonne is going to spare Negan's life. I feel as good about that prediction as any prediction I've ever put out there. They've spent way too much on this Negan-Judith relationship is not a coincidence. All right. I'm going to throw this question out there. In the back half of season 9, can you give me 2 characters that were in scenes together and spent more time together than Judith and Negan? There were 2 other characters that might have had the same, might have had slightly more, were close. Henry and Lydia, possibly, right? But other than Henry and Lydia, Judith and Negan. I want you to go back and think about the small talk. So, the writers knew. I mean, they knew that they would have to force this on us. Like, so many scenes, so much cuteness, all those scenes of Negan looking the other way and, hey, she's her mother's daughter. Or, you're just going to have to shoot me, little lady. I mean, all of those little sidebars, the little smirks and, how he's head over heels. Come on. Those things are not, you can't, when you got a gold mine, and let's be clear, the Daryl Carroll dynamic is a gold mine, and we've seen it again. The Judith-Negan relationship is as good as any relationship on the show. And the writers know that we melt when we see that stuff. They're not getting away from that. Such good chemistry. There's also, and maybe everybody doesn't like this, I actually like the chemistry between Father G and Eugene. I like the straightforward and kind of sarcastic nature of Father G when he's having a conversation with Eugene, and the very technical. Not a lot of people love those two characters, but actually they're two characters I've they've kind of grown on me a little bit. Well, I'm certainly not a man of the cloth, but my sense of humor is most definitely an acquired taste. I mean, Eugene just kind of, he grows on you. And Father G's not so bad anymore. It's a little creepy. But the on-screen dynamic between both of them, really good. So I've gotten some super bold predictions from you guys. Let's go round two. So I think we've sort of funneled out no Maggie physical appearance in episode number 2. Too early. Michonne's story starting to develop. Radio confirmation of Maggie. All right, give me something else. Do we finally get the Carol-Negan standoff? Could this be where Michonne knows that if she does have an exit or does need an out, that Judith might be the key? Give me a couple more bold predictions. June Smith, there's just enough people around to take care of Judith. Just go find Rick, darn it. I love it. I love it. June, that is awesome. Now, June, I'm going to throw this out there. Does Maggie take care of RJ? I think it was Julia Muse mentioned it a minute ago. Somebody did and said RJ stayed behind. I don't know. I guess RJ could stay behind with Herschel. So Michonne goes out on that mission by herself. It would certainly be, from a movie standpoint, it would make more sense for Michonne to be out there with a katana and no kids, rather than being in trouble. I got to protect RJ, being in trouble. So, maybe you're right. Maybe she does think it's easier to go out and look for, have Aaron take care of RJ. You know what? Whoever brought that up, I shot it down a minute ago. I agree with you. Who brought it up and said she's going to leave RJ behind? Now that I think through it a little bit, I think you're right. I think RJ and Judith do stay behind. Michonne expects to go out there, find a few clues, and and she says, I'll be back. Julia, Maggie, okay, a few people. All right, yeah, sorry I shot that down quite so fast. I kind of had it played out a certain way, but now I think through it, yeah, I think you got a point. See? That's funneling the funnel. We just funneled a funnel theory. Crystal Singer Chick says, bold prediction. Negan gets out of jail and moves into the house upstairs from the jail. It's next door to Michonne and Judith. I don't think Negan goes back to jail. I think Negan's good. He's sitting on that hospital bed right now. All right, so if we're going to start to tell the Michonne story, and if RJ and Judith are going to be left behind, what has to happen in episode number 2 for Michonne to start to get an idea that Rick is alive? That's the bold prediction I need that I think is going to happen in episode number 2. William, The Walking Dead billboard. I like the Daryl and Negan standoff theory. Newfield says she needs to hear him on the radio. That's part of it. What else does she need? Amanda Goss says hear him on the radio. Leanne Gash, hear him on the radio. Judy Perry, Rick's voice on the radio. Ah, there you go. Where's Robin Vance? That's what I'm talking about, Robin. Helicopter talk. Not just the radio. Mitch Puddin, helicopter talk. Something has to cue either Father G or Negan to talk about Jadis, to talk about the helicopters, to talk about why they never found the body. She can't just go out in the unknown looking for Rick. She's got to have a clue. All right, let me... Ooh. Hold on. How about this super bold prediction? You don't have to agree with it. Actually, this is a low percentage prediction. I got something a little bit different. I got something totally different. Never before been discussed. If you guys are ready for this, it's less than a 5% chance it's going to happen, but it's something we need to think about. Hit the like button if you want my super bold, ridiculous, probably won't happen, but could happen prediction. A lot of silence here. A lot of silence. How about somebody shows back up? How about a blast from the past shows up after many years? And that person leaves with Michonne. Let's see if you guys are going down. Nope. Not Jadis. Nope. Come on. Heath. How about Heath shows back up? How would that feel? Heath shows back up with evidence. The helicopter talk comes in. Heath and Michonne go out looking for Rick and then show up in the movie. Why not bring Heath back? Look, I think there's low possibility, but why not? Heath was captured as well. They both can fight. You don't have Michonne, with kids. You could make it into a mini movie. You got the Rick movie going on, and you got Michonne and Heath, 3-4-part series, how they get to Rick, their journey. There you go. Exactly. Heath would make sense, right? Remember, you guys heard it here first. It might be wrong. I'm going to give it low probability, but at the same time, There's always a shot. William, the Walking Dead billboard says Michonne is going to flip out on whoever tells her about the helicopter 6 to 7 years later. I say the radio has her leave. See, William, that's why I think the radio is too little of a clue. Hey, this is Rick Grimes. No, where are you, Rick? I don't know. I don't have coordinates. Or, well, hell, there's a helicopter flew away. No, I don't think that's enough. But if Heath actually escaped and made it back, if Heath escaped, where would he be? Where would he go? He would go back to Alexandria, right? So what if Heath comes back? Where have you been all these years? And he knew that Rick was captured? Oh, Michonne's like, oh, you're taking me there. So maybe it's not Heath. But I think it's got to be more than the radio and more than just helicopter talk. Those two things in them, even combined, doesn't seem like enough evidence. Fluff the Flamethrower says Heath will come back looking for his glasses. Oh, and yeah, his key card as well. Well, thing is, we don't know where the key card is because Tara's dead. So what happened to the key card? And Heath would know how to get there, right? William, the 999 walking billboard says, I'm eating my Heath candy bar. Queen sent me when he returns. I like that. Steph sent over the Heath bar. All right, I know it's a super bold prediction, but that's what we do here. If Morales can show up from Atlanta, went to Alabama, wherever he went, and then all the way back, make it to D.C., Heath can escape and find his way back to Alexandria. See, here's what I like about that, is in the comic, Michonne left with Pete, with Sadiq. Why not bring Heath back? And Heath and Michonne leave and look for Rick. If you like that idea, give me a 999 in chat right now. If you think we could see that kind of play itself out and work itself into a movie. I only gave it a 5% chance, but looks like our audience is giving it a little bit more than a 5% chance. And you know what, to be honest with you, I didn't sit up all day thinking about this theory. It just kind of, the more we talk it out, the ideas just sort of pop out there. May happen, may not happen. That's why I want you guys to be here live. That's why I want to funnel these theories down. That's why it's important to get your thoughts, get your opinions included in these videos. Because the more we analyze it, the more we talk about it, the more fun it is when it actually happens. Even if it's a small percentage of chance it's going to happen. Evil Tracy. I mean, that's from the comic. It doesn't mean it's going to play out like that. I mean, we did hear a voice. We don't know who the female voice is. Could be Madison. No, it's not going to be Madison. I mean, it could be Stephanie from Commonwealth, but it could also be, that's very predictable if you follow the comic story. Maggie coming back might be a little bit better received by the fans. Look, it's a great gig. I heard the actress who is Deanna, She said, I didn't want to die. I really wanted a few more episodes. Michael Cutlet said he didn't want to die. He would have liked to have been around for All Out War. Chandler wanted to come. He's open to coming back. Madison is open to coming back. Are there any actors that go on record and say, I'm really glad they killed me off and I'm no longer on The Walking Dead? I mean, I don't think so. So I think it's a pretty common thing, and it's baiting the actors. What are they supposed to say when you ask them that question? Just, if you're a journalist, just don't ask them the question so we don't have rumors and talk about it. Exactly, Amy. Who wants to die? Tom Payne? I mean, all of them. Well, Dale wanted to come back too. Dale wanted to leave because he didn't like the way Frank Darabont was being treated. And then he changed his mind, and they already had him written off, and they went ahead and killed him off anyway. But yeah, there's not a lot of people that go on there and say, yeah, I'm so glad my job is over. It's not a rant. It's like, there's some people like, I better get off we're just going to turn into a rant. No, just a strong opinion. Right, creepy? If they can find videotapes, they could realistically bring anyone back. Yeah, you could. I mean, I think we went through the dumpster scene. Hardcore fans are going to be fans. Even if you bring Madison back, it ain't going to be the end of the world. I just didn't like a lot of things about Madison's character I didn't like. And for that reason, I don't think she ever comes back because I think Alicia is her own now. She was a little too sheltered. All right, so this is what we got in episode number 2. We got a heavy dose of Michonne. We got possibly somebody showing up, a blast from the past. Voice over the radio, confirmation. Judith taking on a little bit more responsibility. Maybe a Carol and Negan standoff. And as someone said a little bit earlier, we could start to see the beginning of the alpha-beta relationship being questioned. Not insubordinate, but maybe slightly questioning some of her decision-making and toughness. And I would imagine they'll make their way back and see the trespassing as well. A lot of good thoughts. So we're going to wind this thing down, everybody. We're at 53 minutes. So I've had a great time with you guys here tonight. Time flies. Unbelievable. It's super, super fast. And we're going to be back here tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. We're going to talk a little bit of Thrones. I know there's a lot of hype around there. And in all seriousness, I know Crawfish got a little mini timeout in the beginning. Apparently, I don't know, it might have been a joke that wasn't taken properly. But when we do these streams, it's important from time to time that we do get off topic. We always will get off topic. But if we're talking about Season 10, Episode 2, and all of a sudden we start talking about Game of Thrones, understand, as a host, it becomes a madhouse. There's always going to be a little bit of leeway and a little bit of conversation and a little bit of those things. But it makes it extremely difficult to stay on the topic. I know, things happen. But we will certainly, if you want to get off topic and you want to talk about crazy stuff and being all over the place and weird foods and habits and all of those things, Freestyle Friday is exactly where you want to be. Because we will talk about anything, everything. It's all over the place. That is our topic. It'll be Game of Thrones. It'll be Walking Dead. It'll be birthdays. It'll be love lines. It'll be whatever you want to talk about. That's how we're going to go down. But a lot of people are going to tune in these videos and watch the playback. And certainly they're going to want to hear some of my opinion, but they're also going to want to see a lot of your opinions and what you have included in this as well. So I want to thank you guys for being here. And I saw some of the hype already. You guys are like, yeah, Thursday Thrones, Game of Thrones. Tomorrow night, be here at 9 o'clock. And there won't be a lot of Walking Dead chat. We will make some comparisons, But tomorrow night, we're not going to go in and talk about Negan, and we're not going to talk about Judith, and we're not going to talk about episode number 2. So bring it, and if you want to learn a little bit more about Game of Thrones, get in there, because I'm counting on a lot of you as well. I'm counting on your opinions, and you guys help me learn as much as I can about the history of Game of Thrones. I binge watched it, so definitely want to see all you there. And then Friday, take the gloves off, hang out with us. Who knows what's going to happen? William the Walking Dead Billboard says, awesome streams, great ideas and predictions. Night Army, bring your notebooks and stay out of the elevators on Friday. Exactly. Mitch, that was another shot at you, because what William likes to do is William the Walking Dead Billboard will throw some tokens out there and put you guys on the spot. So be ready to change the subject. If you guys don't know what Freestyle Friday is, we start with a Walking Dead topic, and then freestyles will happen. Somebody will super chat, we'll change the topic, and it just gets crazy. We talk about anything. So that's what we got going on. Thanks, everybody, and big hug for OU Crawfish. I timed you out before the stream even started. It was a joke, Crawfish. Don't be angry. Lots of love for you, man. All right, everybody else, thank you so much for what you do. I'll see you all tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. Peace.